For some of these things here, let's go to the first video. Heels on off squat. Felt tight in my right ankle this am, but starting to open up. Yes, that's why we got to make sure we're getting all that soft tissue work in. The muscles have to be balanced, okay? If one side's shortened, the other one's loose, right, you're going to have imbalance. So for everything to be working properly and for everything to be balanced, it's got to be balanced so everything needs to be functioning, right, in order to have the balance. So let's look at the video. Really good. See, when you do the heels off, it's so good. Yep, so good. Right there. Okay. So right here, as you go up, right here is where you start to push back on your heels too much, okay? I need you to lean forward more as you push up. Even here, right as you push up, right there, you're starting to lean back on your heels, okay? So you need to think of, focus more about what your feet are doing, okay, rather than what your glute and hamstrings are doing. Because if your feet are pressing into the midfoot the whole time as you go up with this reach forward, then you won't get so long here with the legs. You won't get as long, and you won't feel it in your lower back as much, okay? Right here, there's too much pressure on your lower back because you're not in balance. So at this point, you need to be leaning forward way more, and then get the knees even wider as you do that. So you just need shift into that weight, into the front foot and the toes. They need to be pressing into the ground. But as you come up, you're losing a little bit of tension in those toes digging into the ground right here. Okay? So all it is just a shift towards your toes, but while you do that, you got to still keep tension in the glute and the hamstrings. But other than that, it's really like the down part is so good right here. Look where you are when you go down, right there. That's where you need to be when you go up. But look where you are when you go up. Look at the difference. Look how much you've lost your legs, the load in your lower body. Okay, because you're trying to exaggerate this hinge, but as you go up, you're losing lower body strength here. You're losing load in your legs. You're losing lateral base. It's just getting too long because you're pushing back towards your heels. But if you stay here, like on your down part, look at that. Look how much load there is in your hip and that hip flexor and your glute and your legs, right? This is where we got to go. So if we're coming up, that was down. Pretend we're going up. Got to go up like that the same way. Look how much stronger that is. That's obviously you going down, me just reversing it. But that's essentially how you need to go up. Go down and up this way, but you go down and up this way. You see that little move you do there? You let your, it's when you drop your heels is when you see how your hips rise up. You can't let your hips rise up here as you do that, because then you're going back just towards your heel too much. Right here, you got too much pressure on the heel. So when you have the heels down, you have to keep leaning forward. Like your knees and everything has to still be pushing forward like that on top of your toes as you push the heels down. But look where your knees go when you push the heels down. They go way back behind the toes. And then you also lose compression. Okay? I know you can get there. It's just got to be stronger in the feet right here. Okay, there's gonna be more compression. And it's okay if we can just be up a little more than this. We don't have to be this low just yet. Remember limitations? If that's a limitation, you can't get the heels to drop there without losing your balance here. Okay, then just start like around here. Okay, that's fine, but just lean uh, as you go up. Don't push back towards your heels like that. Just continue to push through that midfoot. See how your heels are just a little off? It needs to be more like that feel the whole time. But as soon as your heels come down and then you go up here, look at that. It's just all pulling back too much. You have no anterior load at all. It's all just in your posterior. You see? So remember, we can't go from one end of the spectrum to the other. Before you were way anteriorly loaded. This is perfect right here, but imagine knees and hips forward even more than that. And then your chest upright. Okay, that's anterior load. But right now we found really good posterior connection here. just when you drop the heels, you go all the way back into your posterior chain, and then you lose like all of your front load, if that makes sense. Remember, we have to have balance between the two. I'm not saying, yo, look, only posterior chain connection. No, anterior side has to be working too. It's just that you're predominantly all into your anterior chain, excuse me, before. Okay. Now we found perfect posterior chain connection here. It's just when you put the heels down and then you squat up, you go completely posterior. By what I mean by that is you have no quad involvement. There's no load in the quads here. So that's all you need. You need more anterior involvement. And you're going to do that by understanding what your feet are doing. Okay, because once you go, boom, all the way to heels, now you're just only posterior. Like you're in your posterior, but there's no strong connection there. There's no strong connection anywhere. Okay, you're just leaning towards that way. But to find strong connection on both ends, you have to find counterbalance. That's why you got to lean forward more too, right here. Lean forward, so that way you're on the metatarsals, the balls of your foot. Okay, and the pressure can't come off of that. It's got to stay leaning towards that the whole time as you go up. Okay, but honestly, it doesn't look like the limitation's really that bad. Like, look how low you're getting. That's really good. Okay, moving on.